How you guys doing? Welcome back. This is part 5 of the Whaler refit. So we're done with the outside hull. We've got 4 coats of white wet edge on the hull. Love the way it came out. Gonna pull it out in the sun eventually though, just to make sure. I found 1, maybe 2 spots I have to touch up. All things considered, first time painting, I'm pretty happy with that result. But I'll bring it outside where I have better light. I'll really be able to inspect it and see if I have any other than those 2 spots. But we're inside the boat now. And our goal is to get this all sanded up and get this ready for priming. I have a little bit of weather left that I can probably do this. If I get lucky and we get a little bit of a warm spell as we finish up November and get into December, I'm hoping I could lay down the color inside this boat before it gets too cold to paint. I may have to find some other way other than the tent to do that, because I don't want to lay up paint in really cold weather. That's not good. So it's all about prepping. More sanding and a little bit more fairing. So I think in this one you're going to see me work this floor. As you can tell, the floor in this boat, I want to put marine mat on there, as I've said, but I need to make sure that it's a good surface to attach the marine mat to. I want good adhesion. I don't want it peeling up, because I have stuff that's been on this floor embedded into the non-skid from all these years. So my goal is to sand it down, clean it up, get a good smooth surface, prime it, paint it with the rest of the hull, and then I think when we lay the marine mat down, it's going to look even better. As for the rest of the sides, the gunnels, the backsplash well, and up front, that's going to have as many coats as we need to put on of the Total Boat Wet Edge in Boston Whaler Blue. So it's all about getting ready, so here we go. Nice when you have a spider in your mask. That's always fun. Okay, so just sanding a little section of it. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but you can see, I mean, I don't even know what that is. Again, this boat is over 50 years old. God knows what happened here. Was it in a garage? Something spilled? I don't know. I can't think that that was a good idea that worked out well for whoever did that. But you can kind of see right here where it, hopefully the camera is picking it up. You can see where it's a little bit lighter right here in this line. That's where I stopped. And I have a much lighter color. I've loosened up whatever's in this non-skid, whatever's on here. And I'm gonna keep on going. So my plan is to work it all the way to the bow, obviously. And I have a lot of work to do here, which I know you don't want to sit and watch me do. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep on sanding, and I'll be back and I'll show you what I got when I'm all done. So here's what we're going to be using on the inside of the boat. Same thing we used on the outside, but a different color. Since blue is darker than white, we're going to go with the gray 2-part epoxy primer. Parts 1 and part 2. The base and the activator. It's a high build primer, and inside this boat, this is going to be needed more than it was on the outside. The outside had a lot of crazing on the hull, which, if you don't know what that is, it's just little tiny spider cracks. If you've ever looked at a map of a state and you see all the little counties drawn in there and they're all little wiggly lines showing one county after the next, crazing looks a lot like that, if that gives you any kind of illustration of what I'm talking about. And that was all over the outside of the boat. And we were able to fill that with the multiple coats of primer we put on before we laid up the paint. So it covered well. The boat looks great on the outside with a beautiful white finish. This will be what we'll do to use on the inside. So we have a ton of cracking on this floor. Little tiny cracks, little cracks in the gel coat. Again, 50 plus years of whatever was done to this boat. You know, people taking drill bits and screwing in a battery. We had a battery tray here. We had a giant trim pump for that Mercury motor that was on it, with spider wiring everywhere and little loom attachments attached to the back of the splash well. I wanted all that filled, and this primer really does the job. It's a tremendous product. I'm happy with the results I've had with it so far. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I just like to show you all what I use in case, like I said, if you're taking on a project like this, you know what to use. You've seen what it can do and you see the results. So this is the color we'll be going with the inside. It's the same color that the boat is now. It'll just be fresh, it'll be brighter, and it won't be faded. It'll bring it back to today's finish, and it's going to look amazing. And I think against the white hull, it's really going to look great. And then we can move into putting the interior in, which is a full mahogany bench, low console interior, which I've brought up in the past. I'm going to show that later on when we get to it, but if you keep watching and you stick with me, you'll see that. And that's going to be coming up over the winter, because as it gets cold, you can't really paint. But I could put wood in here and I can make this really start to come together and get ready for the big part of this, which will be purchasing whatever motor I choose to put on. Again, I'm a Suzuki fan. I'm leaning very much towards Suzuki, but again, that's a video for another day. So we're going to finish prepping inside so we can get to this stuff and start laying it up in here. I bought quartz because I don't want to be left with a bunch of material, so I'm starting off small, and if I have to order more, I will say this about Jamestown Distributors and the Total Boat people. You get your products literally in a day and a half. I ordered at night and I waited a whole day, and the following day after that full day, I got my products by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're not really delayed, you're not laid up. So it's really good in that respect. So I'm very happy with it. Very good product so far. I guess the true test though will be when this boat is commissioned fully and it's out there on the water, how will it stand up to the elements? But hey, that's what I'm working towards, and I can't wait to get there. So I appreciate you guys tuning in today. Quick little video just to show you what we're doing. I haven't uploaded on the Whaler in a couple of weeks. You guys saw the striper video. If you haven't, go watch it. It was my last 2 trips of the season out with my friends Vito and Pat. Great guys, love fishing with them, and they did a spectacular job in working the cockpit. So check that video out, and I'll be back soon with my next edition of the Whaler Refit. Take care.